President Obama and Mitt Romney working hard to sell themselves to the all-important female voting bloc by firing up a multitude of attack ads. And a recent CNN ORC poll found that women today would vote for President Obama 53% over Mitt Romney's 44% if the election were held now. So who will come out the winner in November? Well, joining us to debate this is columnist and author of Outnumbered, Chronicles of a Manhattan Conservative, Jedediah Bila, and Democratic strategist Christy Setzer. Ladies, thanks so much for being here to talk about this all-important topic. Jedediah, I want to start with you because you wrote a very interesting article for FoxNews.com. I recommend everybody check it out. You say the Republicans have a big problem with women. They have a problem with female voters. What is it?
Well, I think historically, if you look back through all the elections throughout time, women have gone Democrat. They do lean Democrat. I think that's because, in a large part, the feminist movement has been telling women for a long time that Democrats are their ally. And somehow these big government policies have become their friend. They have sort of exchanged the values of self-sufficiency and autonomy in favor of government dependence. Instead of relying on men, now they're relying on government to be their big daddy or whatever you want to call it. But I think that right now is a different time in the sense that a lot of women are out of work. A lot of female entrepreneurs are being impacted negatively by Obamacare. I think that Barack Obama, if I were to make a guess now, would pull out a lot of the female vote, particularly a lot of the unmarried women. Perhaps more of the married women would go toward Mitt Romney. But the enthusiasm among women for Obama will be substantially less than it typically has for other presidents.
Okay, so Christy, there's a lot there that you can respond to. But what is most important to Democratic women? Is it right now the economy and jobs, or is it some of the social issues, abortion, things like that, that the Obama campaign is making hay with in the attack ads?
Well, I think for everyone, the economy is certainly the most important issue. And I think that is where you see that women are choosing the Democrats because they understand that the Romney-Ryan economic policies are going to be disastrous for them and for their families. I mean, if you just take a look at the Romney tax plan that is going to make 95% of us pay on average about $2,000 for a middle-class family with a couple of kids. That's something that they're saying we just can't afford that. We literally can't afford that in this economy. We need that money to pay for groceries, for gas, that sort of thing. And they appreciate the fact that President Obama has really made both women's gains in the workforce a priority of his administration. The very first bill that he signed into law was the Lilly Ledbetter Pay Fairness Act, which allowed women to sort of have more advantages and be able to,
But Jedediah, here's what's interesting, is that if you look back at the polls, back in 2008, President Obama beat John McCain in the female vote by 13%. Today, the poll that we just showed in the intro, it's 11%. So there's been very little change, it seems, in how women feel about the president, or how they support him, I should say, even despite these tough economic times.
I think a lot's going to change in the next 3 months. A lot's going to depend on the convention. I think Paul Ryan has re-energized the ticket. His favorability ratings are actually much higher than his unfavorability ratings. But I want to remind people that there are 800,000 more women unemployed today than when Barack Obama took office. Women are often the heads of households. They're the ones writing the paychecks. They're the writing the checks out. They're the one balancing the budget, seeing gas prices rise. They're very in touch with all of these things. So if people don't feel that those things are going to impact the election, they're wrong. I would also remind people that 50% of the country is now pro-life, as opposed to 41% that's pro-choice. So I don't think that these social issues, Ledbetter, for example, that was a bad act. That enabled frivolous lawsuits. That was not about equal work for equal pay. The reason Republicans opposed that was because it was a bad act.
I want to get Christy in. Christy, last word. We've got about 10 seconds for you to wrap it up.
Sure. I don't believe that women are going to be voting for a Romney-Ryan budget where they have consistently ignored women's rights. They have done everything from preventing access to equal pay to expanding access to health care, child care, education. Women's vote is going to stay where it is with the Democrats.
Everyone wants access. Sorry to have to leave it there, ladies. Obviously, we'll be debating this in the coming